Hi, it's Nicki here, and I'm back to answer some more of those author questions for you. As always, the link to the full set of questions is in the blurb below the video, but for today we are doing questions 13 through to 18. So, here we go. Question 13. Can you recommend an author you enjoy that's not well known? Why did you choose them? Oh. I'd probably recommend Sandor Marai. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, so apologies if I'm not. But he's a Hungarian author whose works I really like. They've only started being translated into English reasonably recently. And I've got, I don't know, I think maybe two or three of them. I think definitely two. I think it might be three. Yes, it's three. Three of them up on my shelf there. There are some others that I don't have yet, which are not available in English, but they're available in German. So I may well buy them in German to read, since I can't get the English versions. He has a really atmospheric writing style, which is difficult to describe. I'd start with a book called Embers, that's available in English, and go from there. And it was a piece that just really stuck with me, a very, very evocative writing style. Question 14. When coming up with a new story, what comes first, the character or the plot? Honestly, it will depend. If it's a story that I'm writing completely off the bat from my imagination, it would tend to be the character. Usually I'll have an idea for a character, and then from there a story concept will develop. However, if I'm writing for an anthology call in particular, and there's a theme we have to follow, then that theme is more likely to prompt a rough plot idea, which will then develop once I start to think about characters. So pure, like, my own imagination, no prompting, is usually a character, but when there's some sort of prompt or theme, then it will usually be a plot. Question 15. Has your writing been significantly influenced by any works of newer media? I don't think so at this stage. My writing style is definitely influenced by the fact that I'm published mostly by US publishers, because I have to adapt to US style grammar and often spelling as well, which I don't really like US spelling, but if I want to be published with those publishers, I need to do that, so I do. In terms of newer media, in terms of things like the internet, I don't think it has, although I really do love the idea of doing in the future some kind of mixed media piece. I quite enjoy sketching, so I had thought to do a sort of drawing that's going to be partly in pictures, partly in words. However, I'm not an illustrator type drawer. I tend to just sketch realistic portraits, which I copy from a 2D image that I found on the internet of my favourite actor and things like that, which is what's put me off. I think I'd need to try and develop my more sort of manga cartoon style drawing if I wanted to do something like that. I'm also quite interested in the audio and visual aspects of things. I'm very keen on film, so that's something else I wouldn't mind considering as well, trying to link in some of that. So that's kind of something in the back of my mind that I'd maybe like to do in the future, but it hasn't happened yet, and so it hasn't really been an influence at this stage. Question 16. What are your favourite online resources, websites for writers? I've actually posted a little video on some of my favourites, so I don't know when I'm releasing this one, like whether I'll have put it up yet, but if I haven't, it will be coming, so I'll talk in more detail then. But to start off with, I'd probably just list three today, and I'd say Merriam-Webster, particularly if you're writing historical fiction, because their online dictionary gives you a first usage date, which is really important if you're trying to check whether a word was in current use at the time your story is set, if you want them to say it in dialogue. Then Grammar Girl, her quick and dirty grammar tips are really useful if there's something you just want to quickly check, like you can't remember whether it should be further or farther. Her website's really great for that. And then Writer Beware is an awesome resource if you just want to check the reputation of a publisher and just get a feel for what's going on in the industry at the moment. Question 17. What authors, styles or intellectual movements have most influenced your writing? I wouldn't say any particular styles or movements have. In terms of authors, I think a lot of my stories have a sort of subtle underlying humour, and that probably comes from reading people like Charlene Harris, the Southern Vampire Mystery novels. My interest in like really detailed historical fiction probably comes from Chelsea Quinn Yarborough and her Saint-Germain Vampire series. I mean, I'd love to become the next Haruki Murakami or Milan Kundera or something, but I don't know, I seem to do better with drama fiction at the moment, so maybe I'll save my great literary fiction novel for when I'm a bit older. Maybe I'll have one in the future. Perhaps that'll be my sort of grand opus to crown everything else that I've done first. Let's move on. Question 18 is the last one for today. It's gone quick. Have you ever wanted to rewrite the end of another author's published book, and how would you have done it? I'm trying to have a think. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. I mean, obviously, if there's a character you really loved and that character ends up dying, there's the part of you that wants to change things so he'll live, but often, you know, that death's important and it's part of the narrative arc, so you'd ruin the story if you took it out. So no, I mean, I certainly, nothing's coming immediately to mind that I would change. I think most authors, you know, if it's books I'm reading that I like, then it's usually a book that they've gotten right, that they've nailed. So why change anything if it's already good? So that's the end of today's 6 questions, and I look forward to joining you again next month when I will get through 19 to 24. Bye for now.